I tell you a quick story that kind of relates to this?
Mm-hmm.
When I was studying acting, right, just in the very beginning, one day I come home and I turn on the news, and I just catch the tail end of this news segment. And it was Crocodile Dundee 2. And they were casting for this big scene. They were casting extras for the big scene. Mm-hmm. And so she was interviewing the casting director, but I didn't catch the casting director's name. But I caught her name. She says, "This is Joyce Shank, signing up, blah, 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 in Long Island." I'm like, "Joyce Shank." I said, and she was either from NBC or CBS, one of those major networks. So I got the number to the station. I called up and I asked for Joyce Shank. She was actually there.
Yeah.
So she comes on the phone. She goes, "Who's this?" I said, "Well, my name is Federico Castelluccio. I'm a budding actor, and I saw a beautiful segment that you did yesterday, flattering her."
Yeah.
She's like, "Which segment was that?" I said, you were interviewing a casting director, but I didn't catch his name. She goes, "Oh, that's Riccardo Bertoni from Navarro Bertoni Casting." She goes, "Do you want his number?" I go, "Yeah." "Oh, I'd love his number."
See?
"Yeah, thank you." And so she gives me his number, and so at the time, I knew that you needed a headshot, right? I didn't even have a headshot, so I got a headshot done, and it was like this very dramatic, like one lighting and one sort of lighting and shadow on this side, long hair.
It was like Vito's first realtor card.
Yeah, probably, yeah, exactly. Which I'm sure it was, right?
Definitely
very, very dramatic. So
hey, we had to sell houses.
I put whatever BS I had as a resume at the time, mainly art stuff and whatever little acting I did or theater. So I had that on the resume, and I decided I was just going to go in the city and cold call this guy, And so I found the address and everything. And at the time, we didn't have cell phones, so there was a phone booth on the corner. So I called the number, and he answers, "Hello, Riccardo Bertoni, Navarro Bertoni." I hung up. I'm like, okay, so he's there. So I go up.
I love it. That's great.
I go up, and it was this kind of railroad kind of office. It's like, pictures all over the place, a desk over here, and he was at the end. And he was like writing, his head was down. And I opened the door, and I'm looking in, and I see him at the end there. And I go, "Mr. Bertoni?" And he's like, "Yes." He doesn't even look up. I said, he goes, "How can I help you?" I said, "Well, I'm here for the extra, being an extra in the film." And he's like, "What film?" I didn't know what to say.
The one I want to be in.
Yeah. Anyone.
I said, the Crocodile Dundee 2. He goes, "Ah, yes, Crocodile Dundee 2. He's like, "Come in. You got a picture?" I said, "Yeah, I have a picture," and I hand him the picture. He goes, "Anyway, how did you get here?" I said, "Well, my friend Joyce Shank sent me over here. She thought I'd be good for this, doing an extra." And she goes, "Who's Joyce Shank?"
Amazing.
I thought he would know. It's like, "Oh, what do you mean? She interviewed you yesterday?" "Ah, yes, very nice lady, very nice." Let me look. He looks at the picture. Very dramatic.
That is great.
And he turns it around. He goes, "Federico Castelluccio, ma sei italiano?" "Sì, allora, che bello, blah, blah, blah." We start talking in Italian. He walks up he gets up and he goes over to he looks in the folder. He's like, "Okay, you come in on Tuesday, you work on the film." I'm like, "Holy shit, that easy?"
That easy?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, "You want me to come?" He goes, "Yes, you come." It's like, I give you the number, and they give you the. So I worked on Crocodile Dundee 2 as an extra.
Really? Oh,
it was my very first time on the set.
Wow.
Now listen to this. The story doesn't end there. I go back to the set. I only worked one day, right? And it was raining, and oh my God, it was horrible weather. We were outside. I could see myself in the scene, It was like, and they said specifically, the AD, the assistant director, said, "The camera's right here. Just look around, like you're coming in to save, the day or whatever." It was when all of these gang members or whatever go in there and they save the girl. Remember? I don't know if you remember Crocodile. Anyway, so the camera's over here. Don't look at in the direction of the camera. What do you think I did?
Look
Right,
at the camera.
Twice. I'm like, I gotta get my face in there, man. There's too
I
many
want
people
people to
around.
see me.
So yeah, and they gave me wardrobe, and I hated it. So I went to my car and I put on my own jacket.
Oh.
It was,
That is
and
great.
it was a leather jacket with these colors on the shoulder. Anyway,
man.
so I was my own. You know what I mean? I had my own ideas of
Yeah.
what to do there, and so I made friends there on the set. So I go back to the set the next day. I'm not working, so I'm hanging around, and I meet the assistant to Paul Hogan. So I show the guy some pictures of my work, and I said, I'd love to do a portrait of, okay, you do the portrait, man. We'll introduce you to him. I did the portrait. It was a pencil rendering about this big, and I went back to the set, and he, he was at the Plaza Hotel. Went to the Plaza Hotel and delivered the painting. I think that picture is online somewhere.
I think it's on your website.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
and Paul Hogan
yeah.
holding the drawing I did of him.
Yep.
And he was interviewed one time. He says that was one of the best portraits that was ever done of him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's cool. If he only knew right now that it's Furio that drew it.